we're going to dive into a question that sounds so simple, it's almost silly, but it's so deep that it's kept philosophers up at night for centuries. And that question is, what exactly is an object? No, I'm serious. Go ahead and look around you right now. Pick something, your coffee mug, your phone, whatever. You know what it is, right? You know how to use it. But what is it, fundamentally? What makes that thing a single, unified thing that's separate from everything else? That simple question, well, that's where this whole rabbit hole begins.
So to really get to the bottom of this, we're going to use the same three-part toolkit that philosophers use. First, we'll ask the contrast question. Basically, what are objects not? Then we'll get a little weird with the extension question, which asks what objects even exist. And finally, we'll zoom in with the nature question to ask what they're actually made of.
All right, let's open up this toolkit and get to work.
Okay, so that's the plan. We're going to define by contrast, then we're going to do a head count of reality, and finally we'll inspect what these things are actually made of. First up, the contrast question. So let's start with that first one. You know, the easiest way to figure out what something is to figure out what it isn't. But can we even do that with objects? I mean, is there even such a thing as a non-object? Or does pretty much everything fall under that category? And right away, that question splits philosophers into two big camps. On one side, you've got the umbrella view, which says, yeah, everything is an object. Numbers, ideas, justice, you name it, it's an object. But the more common view, the object/property view, says, hold on, and draws a line in the sand between objects, the things, and their properties, which is just the way things are. And this quote just nails that distinction. Think about it. A table has the property of being hard. It has the property of being brown. But the table itself, the thing that's holding all those properties together, feels like something different, doesn't it? It's not just a floating cloud of hardness and brownness. It's the subject that has those qualities.
So to make this distinction a little more, official, philosophers have a whole checklist. For example, objects are concrete things that exist in one place at one time. A rock can smash a window, right? It has causal power. But can the idea of hardness itself smash a window? Probably not. It's these kinds of tests that help us separate a thing from its characteristics. Okay, so let's say we've drawn a line between objects and non-objects. Now we hit an even weirder problem. How many of them are there, anyway? This is the extension question, and it's basically asking for a head count of all of reality.
Well, the most straightforward answer comes from the philosopher W.V.O. Quine, who, when asked, what is there, just said, everything. Makes sense, right? This is the common sense view, called pluralism. It just means there are lots and lots of objects, from tiny atoms to massive galaxies. But trust me, that is far from the only answer on the table. What if the real answer is zero? I'm not kidding. This is the absolutely shocking position of existence nihilism. It's the idea that, strictly speaking, there are no objects at all. How on earth is that possible? Well, nihilists argue that our language is tricking us. Think about when you say, it is raining. What's the it? Nothing. It's just a placeholder. They argue we could talk about everything that way. Instead of saying, there is a computer on my desk, you could just say, it is computering here. In this view, reality isn't made of things, it's just a swirl of features and activities. Okay, so from the wild idea of zero objects, let's swing all the way to the other end of the spectrum. What if there's only one? Just one single object in all of existence. This view is called existence monism, and it gives us this wonderfully weird concept of the blobject. The idea here is that the entire universe, everything, is one single, incredibly complex object. It has different properties. It's hot over here, it's dense over there, but it has no truly separate parts. You, me, this planet, the distant stars, we aren't individual objects, we're just features of the one great cosmic blobject. So there you have it. 3 totally mind-bending answers to our cosmic head count. 0, 1, or a whole lot. And while a whole lot might feel like the obvious, common-sense answer, it is fascinating to know that it has some very serious competition. Okay, let's move on to our final stop. For this part, we're just going to assume for the sake of argument that pluralism is right, that lots of objects really do exist. The nature question asks, okay, so what are they actually like? What's their internal structure?
This whole investigation really comes down to one core puzzle. Think about an apple. Is its redness, its sweetness, its roundness, are those things literally parts of the apple, like building blocks? Or is the apple just a simple thing that happens to have a relationship to those properties, which might exist somewhere else entirely?
So this splits into a few major theories. First up, you've got bundle theory. It says an object is nothing but its properties all bundled together in one spot. The apple just is redness, roundness, and sweetness all coexisting. Then there's bare particularism, which imagines a kind of propertyless pincushion underneath that all the properties get stuck to. And finally, there's the ancient idea of hylomorphism, which says an object is a combo of two things, the raw matter and a form that shapes and organizes it.
The other side of the coin is actually a lot simpler. These are the relational theories, and they argue that properties are not parts of objects at all. From this perspective, an object is just a simple, featureless blob. And properties, like redness, exist independently, maybe in some platonic realm of perfect forms, and the apple just has an external connection to them. Wow, okay, let's just take a breath. We have covered a ton of ground here. We've gone from asking whether everything is an object to whether anything is an object, and then looked at what they might be made of. We started with a super simple question, and now we have this complex set of frameworks for looking at the world. But this whole framework, the contrast, extension, and nature questions, it's not just for, professional philosophers in ivory towers. It's a really powerful way to break down any complex idea and just think a little more clearly about the reality all around us. You might have noticed we haven't landed on the one single correct answer for what an object is. And honestly, that's kind of the whole point. The real value here isn't about picking a winning theory. It's about sharpening our own thinking and getting a much deeper understanding of the question itself. So let's go all the way back to the beginning. Look at that mug or that pen on your desk one more time. After everything we've just talked about, what do you see now? Is it a bundle of properties? Is it matter shaped by a form? Or could it be that it doesn't even exist at all? The question really becomes, is the world you see made of things? Or is it just the way things are?